Hi, and thank you for being a part of Digital Learning Day's Geek Out series. I'm Michelle Green with the Indiana Department's Office of E-Learning, and with me this hour are 3 Hoosier student digital leader teams. And they are going to be sharing a lot more with us in just a moment, but first let's go over a couple of things. So we started Friday Geekouts as part of Indiana's Digital Learning Month celebration, and as you can see, a Geekout is just a Google Hangout on air. And with that, we have a group of enthusiastic educators, but more importantly today, we have a group of enthusiastic students. And they've come together to discuss a topic related to digital learning. And this hour's topic, as I mentioned, is Hoosier Student Digital Tech Teams. And what that means is it's a program that was developed to support student tech teams in schools that were one-to-one or going one-to-one. And the idea was that students can be change makers. You can learn more about that at bit.ly/HSDLEAD. Hashtag HSDLEAD is our program hashtag. You can also send us questions using the hashtag INELearn or using the blue button in your browser as we go along. So while I have those questions for the panel, we're going to start with introductions in a moment. It's more important that we get your questions from the audience, so please do share with us. Let's go ahead and start introductions, and we'll start with Mr. Casper's group.
Hello, I'm here. Yeah, we kind of have an extra small group today. My name is Tim Casper. I'm the Director of E-Learning at Danville Schools. Me and Miss Rhonda Reeves, who's right here, we mentor the kids here in the Student Support Center. And behind me, I have Taylor and Wes.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here today, again. And so let's move over to South Vermilion.
Hey, this is Maria Sellers from South Vermilion. I'm off camera. I'm keeping the focus on the kids, and I can let them go around the table really quick. We'll start way in the back with Braden.
Hi, I'm Braden Hesseltine.
Hi, I'm Joshua Hart.
Hi, I'm Aiden Halterman. Hi, I'm Magic Fleetwood. I'm Eli Taylor. Hi, Lee Oakham.
Hi, I'm Adam Waldrop.
I'm Shia Sapansky. Hi, I'm Megan Sexton.
Hello, iCats. Good to have you here. And now we'll pull over to Mylan to say hi to Miss Hicks and the Tech Tribe.
Hi, I'm Brandy Hicks, and I am the Technology Integration Coach for Mylan Community Schools, and I have our Tech Tribe members with quite a few.
I'm Jordan Bradley. Hi, I'm Haley.
Hi, I'm Evan Smith.
Hi, I'm Jared.
I'm Chase Roberts.
I'm Jacob Wickersham.
Hi, I'm Clint. I'm Tyler Wilburn.
I'm Kevin Huffman.
I'm Devin Rosenbarger.
I'm Madison. I'm Maddie. I'm Lexi.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Rebecca. I'm Danielle.
And in the corner, we have someone videoing. We have Courtney.
Great, and welcome to all of you, including Courtney. I'm going to go ahead and toss out our first question, and we'll stick with Mylan for a second since your mic is unmuted. The HSDL, which is what we call Hoosier Student Digital Leader Program, it's huge, it's broad, and it welcomes a lot of different types of student tech teams, from clubs to classes to tribes, for that matter. What is it about your school's program that makes it unique?
We are the first we are the first tech team at Mylan, and we help our teachers to find websites that are useful and apps, and just basically assisting around the classroom.
So one of the things that makes you unique is that you are working with teachers and supporting them in the classroom. Great.
Yeah.
South Vermilion?
Hello.
Mike's on, there you go.
We also help teachers, like, if they have a problem, they can go to the library and we can help them, or they can email us and we can set up a time and we can or that we have, like, during the summer we have conferences that we do, and they can do that.
Anybody else?
We're kind of lost a little bit of our audio there. I'm not quite sure, but you guys might need to readjust. So let's pull over to Danville. What makes your situation, what makes your group unique? Because I know that you guys actually have some things that are different than the others.
Well, for one thing, we are trusted with not many things normal students outside of like our support center here would be trusted with. We also kind of do team builders, like during our weekly meetings. That's like on every Wednesday and everything. But we also take turns leading, so each one of us, there's normally a good amount of us here, but kind of small today. But we have like updates, like everyone see how we're doing in here as a team wise, and yeah.
Every month we normally send a newsletter of what we would like to see. Kind of like say like we haven't like say if there was an app problem, to show you how to fix the app problem. Have a problem like say like a hard reset. Sometimes that would solve the problem. And
So one of the things you're doing is, and we're kind of like moving into the next question, which is great, you are identifying some of those common problems that are happening across the board. And then not just talking about them as a group, but putting together resources for your peers.
Yes.
Sounds great. So I love that. You're supporting that digital learning in your school. We're going to come back to you guys, because I know you have lots of ways that you do that, not just in your school, but also in the district too. So let's go ahead and go back. Mylon or South Vermilion, would one of you like to jump in? How are you supporting digital learning in your school or your district? And I know both of you are also bigger than just one school.
Absolutely. We'd like to jump in on that. I guess.
Yeah. We help our teachers in every classroom. We help them to try and integrate more technology using like presentation tools such as Animoto or Powtoons. And we help them if they don't know how to do something such as connect to their Apple TV or share a Google Doc with like students.
Kind of taking away that worry about doing something for the first time you're there as backup. So ICATS, what are some of the things that you're doing to support our digital learning, in your school or district?
As the teachers and our school gets more technology, we help the teachers integrate it into their learning environment so they can capture it, use it for the students to help better their learning process throughout their academic careers.
Okay, what is something that you've created specifically that you think that's helping students be better digital learners themselves?
We help create like how-to videos for like how to do different processes and iPad, comparing simple issues, and then digital course subscription videos that describe the courses that our school offers.
Okay, does anybody, let me ask this, so ICATS, any of you have a video that you just really loved creating and that you think is probably one of your best examples of work?
At middle school, Aiden and I created a video that shows me how to download books and ebooks, as well as sign on to the internet.
Great. Do you follow how many people check out your video? Do you watch your viewers to see how people are using it?
Yes.
So how's it doing?
Good.
Glad to hear that. Okay, let's toss it back over to Danville, and I just forgot the name of your team. I'm so sorry. What are some things, you mentioned that you did the newsletter. What are some other things that you're doing to support digital learning in your school or the district?
One thing that we did last term was a tech fair over at our middle school, where we introduced all sorts of things. Like I myself am taking a class over at Ben Davis Career Center, radio broadcasting, and we implemented that into the tech fair, introducing how music and everything comes together within the radio broadcasting. Another thing that we did there was such as, we did like a little app matching game to see if the kids have knowledge. Kids know their knowledge of the apps. And we did like a little photo booth, and Mr. Casper introduced them to like Google Chrome, I believe. Yeah, Google Chrome and the apps that come with it. And yeah, Taylor, anything?
I haven't. All I've been working on is the web page that been updating slowly, but it's getting there.
Is it like a resource hub, or is it something a little different?
Basically, our web page is basically all of our stuff that has happened in our past, like all of our records of what all we did are there, how you can contact us, newsletters, you can view all of our previous newsletters from the years. We are also currently working on podcasts, like that is me and my other coworker, Bradley Gordon, are working on that. We're still working on our first one right now, but we feel as though with this podcast we can introduce kids more and more onto what they would like to do and what they would like to see and everything.
Right. So going to the middle school was probably a pretty different experience than working in the high school with your peers, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I mean, I myself in my sophomore year, I have done internship over there for a year, I should say, with the gym teacher. So, you know, I kind of grew up here in Danville for a bit, so I've been through there. I know pretty much a lot of the stuff through there, but it was a little different working with the kids in like the lower grades and everything.
Great. I'm sure you were really good models, and I know that probably excites them about coming to the high school and getting to continue their digital learning there. So let's go to the South Vermilion group. And you guys want to share some of the things that you've done to support digital learning in your school or district, besides maybe including how you guys did a keynote at last year's Summer of E-Learning Conference. Or maybe it wasn't a keynote, but it was a major session because I was there with Leslie Fisher backing you up. I was impressed.
I think they're getting shy, so I'll talk a little bit. We actually did a presentation with Leslie Fisher to talk to teachers about what students really want in the classroom. You know, I can say many times that this is cool and this is awesome, but until the students speak up and actually be honest, we don't necessarily know. We also kind of collaboratively work on a Tech Tuesday newsletter. It goes out through me, but quite often I'll ask them about things. If I'm stuck or I'm not really sure, is this a cool tool, I'll sit down with one of them and we'll review it. I know a lot of them even just go to their teachers and say, you know what, I found this, you should really use it in your classroom, can we try it?
Thanks, Ms. Seller. So what do you guys want to share? What's something that you found that you thought your teachers really needed to know about?
Kahoot.
Kahoot! Oh, yes. And that's gained popularity, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a lot of our classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I won't be surprised if I see some of those pictures and stop dropping tweets today.
One of the things that the middle schoolers have introduced to our teachers is Google Docs and pages to do homework through. If we go through Google Docs, our teachers can see what we are doing, and they can also comment on it. So we have done homework through Google Docs. We also use Google Drive to store pages that we have done and have extra copies in case one gets lost.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, the 6th grade teachers just came on this year with the iPad program, and so believe it or not, they knew about Google Drive, they had used it, but they never tried it with the students. But these 3 gentlemen here kind of led the way and really pushed for the teachers to adopt it and use it.
That's what being a Hoosier Student Digital Leader is all about. Awesome job, guys. So, thinking about your day-to-day work, what are some other things that you do, ICATS, to support your school and your district? Why are you an ICAT? I mean, what's in it for you? What are you getting out of this?
Well, it gives us great experience. Like earlier this year, we got to create websites for local businesses, and I was in charge of creating the ICAT website, and I thought that was a pretty good experience.
Thank you.
Definitely. And Megan is here. She's our really quiet, shy one, but she did a pitch on Monday night to a church elder board, and they actually adopted and approved it, and her website will go live and professional. And they've also hired her as the webmaster for the next 3 years. So.
I think that's a pretty inspirational, guys. That not just you just told us your school, your district, and now your community. So definitely some student leadership happening there. I love that. Let's come back to Mylan and see. Do you guys want to add anything to what you've been doing in terms of supporting digital learning in your school and district?
Michelle, I think we do, but beforehand, we're so excited. We've got chatter going on because this is our first year. We're actually documenting ideas as we're sitting here listening to these schools that have had tech teams for quite a while. So it's kind of exciting.
That's the cool part about the Geekout, right? I mean, it's not just, I mean, we have a couple of viewers, and we're so glad that we do, don't get me wrong, but this is an opportunity for us to learn from each other as well, so that's the fun in all of this. Love the chatter going on.
Absolutely. Do you want to mention anything that we're doing to support digital learning?
We are showing teachers that aren't really tech savvy some websites that they can help with their teaching. Like Kahoot, we have used that. We've used Learning Pad as helping for like tests or quiz or just questions you want to ask the class, stuff like that.
Chase is kind of shy, but he goes into the classroom. He's one of our strongest students to go in and help teach a lesson in a classroom for a teacher. He's been doing a lot of creation tools.
Very cool. What is that like, getting to go in and work with a teacher as kind of like their teacher, their mentor? How's that been for you as a leader?
It's been pretty interesting. I mean, I teach one class in particular, and they are 6th grade, and they just love me. They love having me in. And whenever I teach them something, they're really eager to learn.
Do you get to see the things that they create? Because, I mean, that's kind of the neat thing about digital learning, right? We're not just consumers. We're not just researching and just reading things, but now you guys are all creating things that people are using. Do the students ever share with you the things that they create as a result of spending time with you?
Yes, most of the time they create something like on Powtoons, which is pretty much a comic kind of creator like Google Slides is. And I see them in the hallway sometimes, and they stop me and show me what they've created in the last week.
A funny aside, one of his 6th grade friends actually came into our tech area when he wasn't supposed to. We didn't know it. He just had to share what Chase had taught him, so it was great. And the teacher was like, later, it's like, well, he was so excited to share, he just had to come down.
That says a lot. I think that's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. And we'll start with Mylings. I think that you guys have some good responses that you could share. How has being a part of this group redefined who you are as a learner? And then maybe you might even say like how you see yourself as a digital learner. But being part of this student tech team, how has that changed who you are as a learner?
Being in this group has enhanced our digital learning capabilities. It's allowed us to stay focused and enjoy what we're learning. We get to learn at our own pace, which I think is one of the best ways to learn. It lets you take your time and actually remember the material later on when you need to use it. And the internet it allows us to access any information while only using a textbook. You're limited to what's in it.
We've been trying in our LMS just for these students because it is a class also. So we've been trying to do where they go at their own pace, some learning at their own pace. So that's been new and different. We're all at different levels.
So real quickly, Ms. Hicks, because you mentioned it is a class, I know a lot of people have questions. How do you set up a tech team? How do kids get credit? And in your case, you did it as a class. How did you guys describe that? What credits are being earned?
Well, next year the first course that we're taking is on digital citizenship, which goes right along with the curriculum in there is working on computers and knowing the different applications, but also learning about digital citizenship, which I think is a perfect fit for this specific group of students. We're looking at, we do coding right now. We're adding coding into ours, so that's pretty exciting. But adding things that work with them. But there's a lot of curriculum out there as we look through the list of different options for our high school class that would fit right into the tech tribe. So they do work on devices and they man a help desk, but we also have a class through our LMS that is more virtual.
Right, I love that flexibility. And I'm so glad you mentioned that your student mentioned the enjoying part, you know, that this is enabling you to enjoy being a learner. I think that most powerful thing said so far. Let's go back over to Danville. And guys, how has being a part of your student help desk really redefined you as a learner?
Well, I guess it would really be, I guess it's kind of really different from regular students' perspective. Because again, we're trusted with not many as regular things as you would expect a regular student would be trusted with. We're just all around kind of a good team here. It's kind of changed the way we act and everything. We've had a web page. I mean, not many people have done that. We also have a Twitter account that we also update our students with. So, Danville student can follow us on, on Twitter. And if they have like such as a problem at home, they can easily contact us via Twitter. Or we also have a email set up to where they can also email all of us, all the staff members, on questions that they have. And yeah, Taylor, anything to add?
We're like one big family. One of us needs help, we help that person.
I love that. That's actually a really powerful thing, the connection piece, right? Because earlier you were talking about ownership, that you've got extra privileges which come with more responsibility, and you're owning that. You're taking responsibility by sharing the message, but then it's not just you. You're not alone. So I love that connection that you just made. That's perfect. Let's go back over to the ICATs, and let me ask you guys: how do you see yourself redefined as a learner? And maybe some of those who are newer at this, maybe who are you as a digital learner?
Through ICATs in the middle school, this is my first year with any sort of technology, modern technology that is used in schools a lot.
I like that clarification, modern technology.
It has opened more doors and more possibilities to what I can do and what for jobs and ideas and everything else that goes on in this world nowadays. It has opened more doors than I could ever imagine.
Thank you. Anyone else like to add to that? Their own perspective?
Well, I really like how with using technology you can do more project-based learning, and I feel like that really helps. In classes like music theory, before you couldn't really perform your pieces. So now you can record it.
Have you seen that your audience has changed? As a digital learner, do you remember back to before you had these modern conveniences? You were doing work for your teacher, right? Pretty much. Who do you think? Who's your audience now? As a digital learner, who do you see as being aware of your work? Who cares about it? Who sees it? Who's interested in?
All the students are our audience now, not just the teachers.
That definitely is a huge responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
For me, I feel that ICATS has changed the way that I am a digital learner. Because in this past year, the ICATS did a pilot test program for adopting Chromebooks at our school. I used to use the iPad not very often, but now that we got the Chromebooks, it's my favorite device, and I use it in every single class to take notes or to do projects or whatever. It's a very versatile tool, and I feel that it's helped me embrace my love of technology and help use it in the environment.
I suspect if you were filling out a survey, you could tell me very specifically how it gave you more versatility. Like maybe someone who wasn't thinking like a digital leader might say, "Oh, I just like it better," right? Could could you tell me specific functions or specific reasons why you think it has more versatility now?
Well, since it is a Chromebook, it has access to all of the Google apps like Google Drive and Google Docs and Google Slides, so you can create a variety of different presentations and do work that your teachers can actually see progress on by sharing those things with them. It allows the teacher to have more of a say as you're working on your project of like how you're doing it.
I love that point you made. It's about progress. There's not necessarily you're just doing it to be done. It's a learning process. That's awesome. Congratulations for knowing that. A lot of us don't learn that until we're grown-ups. I'm impressed. So let me go ahead.
For me, this has opened up, because I just joined the ICATS about a day ago, a couple weeks ago, I should say, and I'm enjoying it because my morning classes are SDEV, which is a programming-based class, and it's helping me learn more programming as well as helping the schools their programming. But it's going to open up a whole bunch of job opportunities for me for the career choices I want to go into to help people. So it's helping not only the students, but as well as the people who are running the program.
Excellent. And I know that ICATS, we talked in our last Geek Out with you guys, that you do go through an interview process and work on resume building. So you really truly are doing some career preparation work. It's wonderful. Okay, so this last question, which will take us up to, I think, about 10:30, where we're encouraging people from the audience to share questions with us. And if we don't get those questions, I'll let you guys ask each other questions, as I wouldn't be surprised if you have some. But let me ask the advisors, but definitely the teams can weigh in on this too. If you were talking to a school that does not yet have a program, and that they were getting ready to go one-to-one, what would you say should be the first thing, the first activity, or the first step that they should take in getting ready for that, in your experience? Mylon, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I think what we did was our first step to becoming the first step in our way to becoming one-on-one was we went to other schools that were already one-on-one. We hung around with their tech team for an hour or two and see what they would do, and they showed us how to take apart the Chromebooks, put them back together, and what they did, or how they fixed their Chromebooks, and how they got to know that a student had a problem. And that's what we did our first step. And after that, we got a cart of just devices, which was about 30 devices in it, and what they would do is loan it out to each classroom in our building to see how the students would work with the Chromebooks to see if they could take notes or how they would do their homework on it.
Awesome. So site visits, piloting. When you guys were piloting, did you take notes of the ways people were using them, or did you just kind of stand back and watch?
Some of them took notes, some did not when we went for visits and such that. Since we didn't establish the tech team or have them in place when we were piloting, we went and visited at the end of the school year when we were piloting with the students. So the administration and teachers took notes, but the techies didn't until we actually visited other schools to see how their one-to-one and their tech teams were being implemented.
Well, I love that you guys took the tech teams along. I know a lot of schools that are planning for one-to-one do site visits, pretty much all of them. But I don't think I've ever heard of a student tech team going along with that, and I think that's a phenomenal idea. Thanks.
Well, you know, one of the book pushes that I tell the kids to change how the instruction's occurring for them. We're having that opportunity to put their feedback into how the school and the classes are being implemented.
So true. Okay, let's go back over to Danville.
Yeah, as far as, I know I'm not on camera here, but as far as, I think one of the first things you got to think about is how you're going to support your devices. And having a student tech team, sorry about that, having a student tech team or some kind of support network in place is so important. You just kind of have to think long term. Okay, we have the devices, they're distributed, all students have them. Then how are we going to support going down the road? Student tech teams are a big part of that one-to-one initiative. I really believe that. You first have to find, the best possible students you can, and I certainly think we found that here at Danville. We're a small team, but we go through a pretty rigorous process of finding who we want, do an application process, an interview process, teacher recommendations. But our students are really our eyes and ears out in the field, on the ground, about what's going on out there, what problems are they seeing, what are they noticing that teachers and students are seeing, especially if there's something going around school, if there's a hack that we're not aware of. Our tech team is one of the first to find out about that, and we certainly consult with them a lot to brainstorm, okay, what's the best solution, how would you look at this from a student point of view, and so forth. But yeah, definitely finding the right people for your team is number one.
Really good points. And a lot of times I think valuing the student perspective about why a problem even exists can be very much a catalyst for solving the problem in the first place. That's so excellent. Guys, did you want to add anything to what Mr. Casper said?
Well, we, like the iCats, they have all the Chromebooks and everything. We recently just put out a survey with the Chromebooks on it because mainly the iPads have been around for 4 years now. They've been around since I've been a freshman and I'm a senior now. So the iPads are getting to their ripe age, and so we're going around, we're checking to see what students are looking for. I believe some of them were maybe MacBooks, I know Chromebooks, some sort of laptop, I believe maybe a Windows tablet or something.
Well, the main thing they wanted was a keyboard.
Yes.
Right. They wanted a keyboard.
Because ever since first grade, we've all been taught to use a keyboard, to rest our hands on the keyboard if you're not typing.
I remember learning that too.
We've also been reached out by other people, such as a contest, you could say, about cyberbullying. And so we were asked to make a cyberbullying video, which me and my coworker, Bradley Gordon, worked on for some time. And we just submitted that last month on the 27th. And I believe if it gets good reviews, it
could be showed at the
festival. It could be showed at a festival where it can be viewed before everybody.
This is true. Actually, that was me that you sent it to. It was part of our Hoosier Student Digital Leader Program, the Digital Media Festival. And the finalists will be showcased at our event on April 25th. We will have a special guest, keynote speaker Kevin Honeycutt, and I'm really excited to share more about that after I talk to him more about what he's going to share for his message. I know some of the people in the Geek Out with us today got to hear Mr. Honeycutt, well, not Mr. Honeycutt, he would probably laugh if he heard me say that, but got to hear Kevin and his son Ben share last year at Madison Consolidate Student E-Learning Conference. So I'm very excited about that and have really enjoyed watching the Digital Media Festival entries. We have a lot of really great examples and more on that to come. So thank you guys. I'm going to go right back to the iCats, and I'm going to ask you that last question. So when a school is going one-to-one and they don't have a program like yours in place, what do you think would be their first step or an activity to start getting ready for that?
One thing is that I think that when teachers go on site visits, they need to take students with them so that they can put their input in with the teachers, so then when they decide to do it or not, then it'll help with the decision process.
I think the add would be to make sure the teachers do have a team and a reliable team of students, because having one teacher, I'm sure, as you know, a lot of schools do have that one IT teacher, so he's overloaded with the workload, and it can become very stressful. But with a team of students, it would be one of
Now, you're a pretty big group, so I'm going to ask you guys. I know kind of Danville, you guys are kind of techie to begin with. Did everyone sitting at the table here, when you first tried out for the student tech team, did you think of yourself as a techie student? Was anybody converted in the process?
Michelle, we're in the middle of the pledge. Hold on.
ICAT, when you first joined the team, did you think of yourself as a techie person? Or have you become kind of techie?
Well, I started out I was kind of interested in it, and then I learned more about modern technology, how it's used in classrooms.
And the reason I ask that is a lot of times we think about student tech clubs, they have to be your tech geek since we're in Geekout. But I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I think anyone could be an important part of a student tech team. Anyone want to share their ideas on that? Because we haven't got any questions from the audience yet, so I'm going to throw out a new zinger.
Okay, well for us, when I go out finding these kids, even at the middle school, we're not necessarily looking, is the kid extremely techie, but we're looking at, does the student have a reputation for being reliable? Does the student have a reputation to finishing their work? How are they academically overall? So we can teach anyone to be techie, but the start product needs to be something that, we can definitely work with.
I saw a couple smiles when you said that. We aren't going out looking for techies, so I know who you are now from the smiles. Awesome answer. Let me do this. We have just a few minutes left together. Do any of the panelists or any of our groups have a question for another group that they'd like to go ahead and ask at this time?
Any questions?
How about for Milan? Right now, we all follow the same curriculum year to year. How does it work when you, maybe in the future when you're thinking that you have freshmen in doing one content, sophomore in another, junior in another?
Yes. Well, I'm thinking as I build the curriculum, right now I have kids coming in at one came in at a different semester, so we're spiraling. They are doing different content, but if I built bundles, they can go through that on their own. So that would be basically teaching the course, but having students in different directions. So I guess differentiation within the course. My students have came back. We had some feedback already for next year because I'm allowing them to bring in their feedback as we create the curriculum for next year. And one of the big things was they wanted to go at their own pace. That was one of the big comments that came through. They want to help in the ideas, but they also want to go at their own pace. They like that. Some are quicker on things than others, and then they can also come together and ask questions. Because we're virtual, we get a lot of screencasting to each other asking questions.
Good question and great answer. I like how you're personalizing it and taking student feedback into the consideration. It makes a big difference. Anybody else?
I think to the other teams, they're all being shy now. What is your absolute most favorite thing to do as a group? Aside of coursework or anything like that?
Because coursework is always your favorite thing, right?
Well, in the very back, I'm going to be honest, I got a gentleman in the very back, and his favorite is when we eat. It really is. He loves that the teachers drop off snacks for us and that we have different opportunities to eat. We're having a lunch as soon as we're done today. So, that's a big part of it, building that community. But you know how we come together around the table.
Well, just like Danville said, you guys are a family now, right? I mean, that's really what this is about. I remember my student tech team at the high school years ago, we did fundraising, but for only one reason, so that we could buy food. So I remember those days. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I know that DLD, which is Digital Learning Day, is a very busy day in your schools, and I will be watching to see if you stop, drop, and tweet some wonderful things that are happening across your districts. Thank you guys again for being not just one, but two-time participants in the Geekouts, and I know we'll be visiting more in our Google community, doing some more things with your advisors, and possibly be able to do more Hangouts with the teams too. Thank you all for being here today. Have a wonderful Friday the 13th.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
I have a good day. Bye. Bye.